by the end of it, I already know we're probably going to end up veering off and talking about Alex Pereira. It's going to be like we get like halfway through the episode and then all of a sudden we're just going to dive into talking about Alex Pereira. Watch, quote me. All of a sudden, Alex Pereira's name is just going to come up and we're going to go on a rant for like 20 minutes about it.
Maybe 30.
Yeah, go check out our comment section. It's pretty filled up with arguments about Alex Pereira at this point. I feel like that's all anyone wants to talk about nowadays.
He's like the highlight of the UFC at this point.
He really is. Oh, whoa, that's too loud now. All right. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Hardcore and the Casual podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Today, I am joined by Elijah. Alex Pereira, huh? No, we're not diving in that quickly. All right, so first off, we're going to review the show for UFC. This card, Royval versus Taira, it was a pretty good card, honestly. Garimbo ended up picking up the win over Nico Price. JSP, Jonathan Pierce, he ended up losing against Pat Sabatini. There was a lot of other stuff on this that I'm not going to go over because, honestly, I didn't pay that close attention until the main card when we started betting.
Yeah.
So, Daniel Rodriguez, he ended up picking the win over Alex Morano by decision, so that gave me my first point. Oh, that's my chain, by the way. Hold on a second. All right, so Daniel Rodriguez, he picked up the win over Alex Morano. It ended up giving me this title, this card, so Thank you for that. Grant Dawson picked up the TKO win over Rafa. Second round, he just ground and pounded him. The Daniel Rodriguez win, by the way, that was like basically really close. I didn't think it was going to be that close. Alex Morano won like the first round, and like the third round was really close.
Yeah.
But Grant Dawson and Rafa, Grant Dawson TKO'd him in the second round. It was a pretty dominant fight. He took him down in the first, had his way with him, took him down in the second, and then TKO'd him right away. So Grant Dawson took the loss to Bobby Green last time.
Did he?
Yeah, you remember Bobby Green knocked him out like last year in like a couple of seconds?
Yeah, I do remember that.
So he's going to come back, man. He got caught one time. I don't think it's going to happen again.
Bobby Green's a sniper.
He is a sniper, and he caught him with a jab to knock him out too. So, yeah. Chidi Bang Bang picked up the decision win over Jared Gooden. Good performance by him. There's not really much to talk about. It was another UFC fight on just another card. Again, just another UFC fight on just another card. By the way, all three of my guys, I clean swept you. So,
whoa,
yeah. And then these last two, we both picked Brad Tavares and we both picked Taira. So we ended up both losing those two picks.
I really thought Taira was gonna come home and like pull the win. Have that undefeated story. Like he goes in, defeats the champion, but he got good experience. It was a very good fight. So
yeah, Park Jong Young though, he ended up beating Brad Tavares by decision.
Yeah.
The Iron Turtle, man. I mean, he's had like 2 losses in the UFC so far against some pretty good guys. So, I mean, I guess he could make his way to the top 15. He's probably going to get a top 15 fight in his next fight after beating Brad Tavares. But, yeah, poor Brad Tavares. I think he's going to get cut by the UFC after his contract's up.
He just might.
Yeah. But, Brandon Royval versus Teshiro Taira. Man, this was an awesome fight. This was a back-and-forth fight. The third round was crazy. It really all came down to how you judge the third round.
Yeah.
Because all the other rounds were pretty clear. I'm pretty sure first round, probably Royval, second round Taira, then Royval, Taira, and then Royval, I think. Or maybe it was Taira the first 2 rounds. I don't even remember straight, but I just know it was just a blur of flyweights kicking and punching each other and taking each other down.
I heard it was a very high-level fight.
I know it was the third round, definitely. That was the swing round. I remember they went back and forth. Royval was like beating him up for the first half, and then all of a sudden Taira grabs him, gets him on the ground, starts beating him up on the ground, body triangle. The body triangle was the story of the fight.
Yeah.
Brandon Royval had no escape for the body triangle, but every time they were on their feet, Taira was just a punching bag. Royval was just picking them apart, bang, 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 just ducking, diving, uppercuts. It was a beautiful performance in striking from Royval and a dominant performance in grappling from Taira. But you got to give the edge to Royval. He did more. He won the decision. This puts him in a really good spot to get another title fight. But did you see the title fight that they announced for Pantoja?
Who?
A debuting Ashuro Kai Asakura. He lost 3 fights ago in Ryzen. He fights in Ryzen.
Yeah.
And he's getting a title fight on his debut in the UFC.
Against Pantoja.
Against Pantoja. There's Kai Kara France in the division who just won. Mm-hmm. There was this main event, Royval versus Taira. Mm-hmm. There's Brandon Moreno versus Armin Albazi in 2 weeks. What was the point? Why would they set it up for December 10th for the UFC 310?
Because think about it like this: Alexander Pantoja is the champion. They bring in this new guy. They may feel like a style might make a fight, but kind of just to keep him as champion because he does sell pay-per-view points.
No.
He actually does. For Brazil, they do support him heavily. He does put on good fights.
What about the only reason why people watched the last time he was in the main event in Brazil was because Jose Aldo was returning. No one bought the pay-per-view for Pantoja. It was the lowest bought pay-per-view this year. Pantoja is just not a draw. But he will be the co-main event to Rahmanov versus Bilal.
That's a good co-main event.
That is a good co-main event. I can't wait for that co-main event.
Yeah.
But we can get into that now. I mean, there's not really much else to say about Royval versus Taira. It was a great fight. Brandon Royval won, and it sets him up with nothing at this point because there's already a title fight against the guy who's on his debut. So I get that Pantoja has already beaten the entire division before he became champ.
Yeah.
At that point, he had already beaten all the top guys even before he won the title. And it's kind of what Brandon Royval said in his post-fight interview. He was like, I'm already on 8 title defenses. All I need is the belt.
Yeah.
I've already cleared out the division. I just need to win the belt now, and then I'll have no title defenders.
Yeah.
Or no title defenses because I've already beaten everyone. Yeah. Pantoja's basically already done that. Cleaned out the division, beaten everyone. So now they put Steve Erceg in there on 3 wins. They put the new guy, Kai, and he's on his debut.
Yeah.
So they're just throwing guys at Pantoja now because he's already beaten the entire division.
Yeah. Is it to say
I get it.
Is Pantoja just that high level?
I guess I know he is high level, but some of these guys can beat him that are already on the roster. There's no need to just keep on throwing random people at him. Especially guys that have lost to Manel Kopp. This guy fighting for the debut, he lost to Manel Kopp in 10 fights ago. He lost in 3 fights ago. So,
I mean, I don't know. I don't really know how to really think about it too much, but it's if you put these guys back in with Pantoja, it's he's already beaten them.
Yeah.
What are we going to say? I guess the only option is to put new guys against him.
Well, yeah, but I think some of those guys that he's beaten can beat him.
Are you saying Pantoja's just that dominant of a champion?
No,
is that what they're saying?
That's what people are saying. Yeah. I'm saying that Pantoja is beatable by people in the division. They just need their shot to do a rematch. Because rematches don't always go the same way.
Yeah, they don't. You're right.
So, I mean, maybe in the next fight, Strickland beats DDP.
Yeah.
Even if the fight goes the exact same way, the judges could see it a different way, even if it's the exact same fight. So, I mean, there are fights in the division where Pantoja can be beat. And I just think that you don't need to throw in debuting guys at him when you already have a roster stacked with talent. The reason the flyweights aren't that noticeable is because Dana White doesn't give them opportunities.
Yeah.
If he gave some of these guys more of that star shine that he does with Brandon Moreno, making him main event in Canada.
Yeah.
If they did more stuff like that, the flyweights would be more noticed. But he throws in randos that no one's ever heard of in the co-main event, and then hopes that they pull off a big star-shining victory, and then they don't. So
I guess he just respects Pantoja's game that much, you know?
There's
not really much we could really say on it.
At this point, move him up in the division then. Have him fight Merab. That'd be a
125 to 135?
Yeah, like go up and fight Merab for Merab's title. I mean, at this point, Merab's already cleaned out his division before he even got the belt. Who's there left to fight Merab?
I haven't thought about that.
Umar, and then what? There's Figueiredo, but we don't even know if Figueiredo's going to lose his next fight against Petr Yan. And if Petr Yan beats Figueiredo, well, Merab has already beaten Petr Yan. So now what? After he fights Umar, I'm thinking Pantoja moves up in weight if he makes it through his next title defense.
Do you think that's why they're throwing this fight at Pantoja? Be like, all right, he's already beaten these guys. Merab fights whomever, and then Pantoja now moves up, double champs.
Well, I don't think he double champs. I think Merab beats him, but I think Pantoja will put up a fight. I still think Merab beats him.
If Pantoja double champs, what do we say about him?
I'd say that he's a pretty well-rounded fighter who's beaten some high-level guys. I wouldn't say I'm a fan of him.
Do you put him over Khabib?
No.
Do you put him over Alex Pereira?
Yeah, I would. Right now, I would. He's more well-rounded. He's entirely more well-rounded than him.
But he has more defenses than Khabib, and then he'll be jumping up a weight class.
He has. So right now, he's got, I think, just one title defense. I think he won the belt. No, he has 2 title defenses. He won the belt against Moreno. He defended against Royval. He defended against Steve Erceg. So with one more title defense, what?
That's 3 title defenses.
No, he won it from Brandon Moreno.
Okay.
So he's only defended it twice. Alex Pereira is on 3 title defenses. So by the end of the year, they're going to be tied on title defenses. I'd say that Alex's defenses were more they're more high level.
Yeah.
But from a stylistic standpoint, I think that I think that now I'm getting them all mixed up. Pantoja. I think that Pantoja honestly has showed more well-roundedness in his 3 fights than Alex Pereira has. Because all Alex Pereira has done in his title defenses is knock people out. Pantoja has been able to strike with people, take them down, dominate them, and I don't know, man. I put more stock in being able to be well-rounded than just walk out there and knock out a striker that's not that good. That was another point that I made.
Yeah.
Jamal, Yuri, and Khalil, if they went to Glory Kickboxing, do you think they'd beat anything? They'd probably get knocked out in their first fight if they fought like a high-level Glory Kickboxer.
No.
What?
No.
Okay.
They're all high-level kickboxers. That's literally all they do.
Yuri Prohaska, Jamal Hill, those 2 would be high-level kickboxers in Glory?
Jamal Hill, yeah.
No. Bro.
He literally is a kickboxer. He literally has won kickboxing championships.
In Glory. At
not
the highest
in Glory,
level.
but he could.
These guys are not that level. They're not Glory kickboxers. They just aren't. They're not that good. And Alex Pereira has been, look at us. We're talking about Alex Pereira. I don't even know what time we're at. Hold on. What time are we at? We're 16 minutes in.
Yeah.
So, and we're already talking about Alex Pereira. All right. Let's get into it then.
Yeah.
So Alex Pereira, on 3 title defenses in 10 fights, has not fought a wrestler.
Yeah.
And in the total of his career, he has beaten all kickboxers. But when he was a kickboxer, he was fighting more high-level kickboxers than he is in MMA. You know what I mean? It'd be like if DC went to the Olympics, wrestled in the Olympics, and then went and wrestled a high school varsity team.
No, but that's the thing. Here's where that kind of gets choppy. Because now he's coming in to where, okay, maybe the kickboxers aren't as high level. He has faced one kickboxer that is just as high level. Izzy.
Which he went 1-1 with.
He went 1-1 with.
And got knocked out clean in one of them.
Yes, and then finished Izzy in the first, and then knocked him.
He finished him, but he barely
He
finished
was going
him.
to finish Izzy.
No, he wasn't.
He was going to finish Izzy. Izzy was done.
I've seen Izzy in those positions before, and he could have gotten out.
Come on, you can't bail out Izzy like that.
Look how much damage Khalil took. He took an entire 5 minutes of damage just to go down. You don't think Izzy could have taken another 2 minutes?
Nah, the way he was throwing those punches, he was definitely going to hurt Izzy.
Okay. Keep going with your point.
And so
he's fought lower level kickboxers, but
the threat of a takedown, the threat of grappling is always there. The mixing up. Like there's certain rules and regulations, and then also the gloves are smaller. There's more of a risk of getting hit back. Like there's certain things that change.
But does that mean anything when we're talking about high level kickboxing?
Yes, because when he fought another good kickboxer who also took him to the ground and struck with him for a little bit, it changed up the fight. It changed up how he fought.
Okay. Let me ask you this. You know a lot about boxing, right?
Yeah.
You know a good amount. So is it more impressive, are the highest level of boxers the guys that win gold medals in the Olympics, or the guys that go on to win world titles? World titles. We're talking like Tyson Fury, Usyk. Like these are the highest level of boxers, right?
Yeah.
So if Tyson Fury wanted to tomorrow, he could enter into the Olympics and probably win.
Yes.
That's my point.
But that's not
Alex
true.
Pereira went from being at the highest level of kickboxing, and then he came into MMA, and now he's beating a lower level of kickboxing. Like, not as good kickboxing. He's beating the guys that are kickboxers in MMA because he's a better kickboxer. Not because he's a better MMA fighter, because he's a better kickboxer. That's my whole point, is that he's not the best MMA fighter. He shouldn't be pound for pound MMA fighters because all he's shown is that he is a elite kickboxer, and those are different sports.
But
he needs to prove
is a martial art.
He needs to prove that he is a good mixed martial arts.
He is.
No, he's not.
He doesn't. Alex Pereira doesn't necessarily. He doesn't have to necessarily fight a wrestler. He doesn't have to do any of that. He just has to win and keep winning.
He
that's
needs
the
to
goal.
fight and beat a wrestler to prove it. Name a fighter ever that has not fought the opposite style. Name a world champion that has not fought the opposite style from them. It's literally not possible to find a guy like Khabib. He fought strikers and wrestlers. Alex Pereira has only fought strikers and no wrestlers. And listen to this.
Brock Lesnar
fought Randy Couture, who was a high-level...
Francis Ngannou. Francis always fought strikers. Francis
he
never fought a wrestler.
Stipe out-wrestled him in his first title fight.
But Stipe is a striker.
No, he's a wrestler.
Stipe is a striker.
Stipe is a wrestler. He started in wrestling, and he still applies his wrestling in all of his fights.
No. That's like when I said, okay, so Sean Strickland is a wrestler.
No, because he doesn't apply the grappling.
He does.
Stipe does apply the grappling.
He applied the grappling in the DDP fight. There was a little bit of grappling.
No, I'm talking about offensive wrestling. Like you're taking people down, you're stopping takedowns, you're doing everything with the ground game. Like when you see Sean Strickland, he never shoots for takedowns. He has like one takedown against like a Mavov. And then when he gets taken down, DDP was able to take him down. Like who else? Like we can name like 5 people.
DDP's a good wrestler.
Yeah, but that's my point, is that Sean Strickland's not a wrestler anymore. He doesn't apply his craft in wrestling.
Good wrestler.
What's your point here? He's not going to go out there and take down Alex Pereira. He is not an offensive wrestler. Like Justin Gaethje, he's a good wrestler. He's not an offensive wrestler. He's never going to use his wrestling to go out there and take people down. So it doesn't apply in the same way.
The thing is, it's like, is it necessary for his record?
What do you mean?
Is it necessary for him to fight a wrestler?
Yes, because every single world champ fights the opposite style at some point. And think about all the GOATs. Name one of the GOATs.
John Jones.
Knocked down Lyoto Machida, a really good striker. Took down DC, a really good wrestler. Name another one.
Khabib.
He out-wrestled guys like RDA, who were really good wrestlers, and he outstruck Conor McGregor. He literally knocked down Conor McGregor. And he was also beaten a wide range of strikers. Name another.
Izzy
beat Derek Brunson, Yoel Romero, and I know Yoel didn't really shoot on him, but he fought a wrestler at least. And he also beat Derek Brunson, who took like 10 shots at him. He beat Kelvin Gastelum, who's a wrestler, and then Marvin Vettori, who's half wrestler.
Dracus.
So what? He got beat up by one wrestler. He's also beaten a fucking landslide of them.
No, but he hasn't defended his belt against a wrestler.
Yoel Romero.
Dracus hasn't.
What do you mean?
He hasn't defended his belt against a wrestler.
Yeah, well, he already beat wrestlers on his way to the title. You don't. I don't
he
even
can't
care.
Defend his
No.
belt on wrestlers.
No, but the thing is, Alex Pereira hasn't fought a wrestler. If he even fought a wrestler, like somewhere in there,
Jan Blachowicz.
He's not a wrestler. We were just talking about this. He got taken down and beat up by Ankalaev because Ankalaev is this level of wrestler. Jan Blachowicz is this level of wrestler. Wait for my point. Ankalaev is this level of a wrestler. Jan Blachowicz is this level of a wrestler. And Alex Pereira is this level. So Jan Blachowicz can beat someone who's this level because he's better. But he's not a wrestler. He's just better than someone who doesn't know how to wrestle. Ankalaev is up here, took down Jan Blachowicz easily, beat him up on the ground, held him down. And Ankalaev is even not the greatest wrestler. So that means Alex Pereira is so bad at wrestling that a guy that's not a wrestler can out-wrestle him. A guy who's still not a wrestler can out-wrestle that guy. And a guy who's not, like, eternally better will be able to beat him. Like, we're talking, like, not high level. Jan Blachowicz is not a wrestler and still able to grapple with Alex and beat him up.
Let me ask you a question. And do you think that Leon Edwards is what's the word? Do you think he's a cleaner striker than Alex Pereira?
No. He's a better grappler, so I'd say he's more well-rounded.
No. Do you think he's a cleaner striker?
No. I think Alex Pereira is a cleaner striker.
Than Leon?
Yes.
Like clean with like technique, all that.
Yes. Alex Pereira is the much more technical kickboxer.
I think he's the better kickboxer.
But Leon is way more well-rounded. He took down Usman. He took down Colby. He also defended takedowns from both of them and beat both of them.
As a striker.
That's what I want to see out of Alex. Beat some wrestlers. Prove that you can do it. Prove that you'll even fight one. But like, listen to this. In Alex Pereira's first fight in the UFC, he fought a guy named like Andreas or something like that. That guy is a 170 pounder now. Like, we're talking like he's not a big guy. He's a 170 pounder. Alex Pereira is a 205 pounder, and this guy was a 170 pounder. He took Alex down and dominated him for the entire first round. A 170 pounder. Who, and by the way, this guy, a striker. Andreas, he was a striker. He wasn't a grappler. He has no training in grappling. He's just a striker who got into MMA, who was just a better wrestler than Alex. Because, like I said about you and me before the podcast, you and I aren't wrestlers, but one of us is the better wrestler. Even though neither of us are wrestlers, one of us is still better. That doesn't make one of us a wrestler just because we could beat the other one. Like, if you beat me in a wrestling match, that doesn't make you a wrestler, right?
No.
Yeah. Same thing with Alex.
Okay, so if Sean O'Malley, he lost his belt. Actually, no. So you would have Sean O'Malley over Alex Pereira because he beat a wrestler.
He beat Aljamain Sterling,
and then he defended against a striker. So you have him over in the pound for pound list.
I wouldn't say that I have him over in the pound for pound list. I have him as a more well-rounded fighter. Sean O'Malley is eternally a more well-rounded fighter. He's got a submission game. He's got a ground game. He can prove he can get back to his feet. He could prove that he could beat a wrestler, and he proved that he can withstand a wrestler for 5 rounds and arguably collect enough rounds to win. He's proved that. So he's a more well-rounded fighter than Alex Pereira. Until Alex Pereira proves it, you can't just say that he is. If Khabib only ever took people down for his entire career, never struck one time, would you say that he is a well-rounded fighter?
I don't think he's well-rounded now.
Exactly my point about Alex Pereira. He's not well-rounded because he's never proved that he is. Once he does prove that he's well-rounded, then I'll jump on the Alex Pereira bandwagon and call him top 10 of all time and start doing all that and saying he's well-rounded and start saying that he's elite and number one pound for pound and all that. If he just beats a wrestler.
Knocks out Ankalaev, he's number one pound for pound.
It depends on how the fight goes. If he knocks him out right away, then he still has not proved anything.
Knocks out John Jones.
If Ankalaev doesn't shoot for a takedown, it hasn't proved anything. John Jones, if he doesn't shoot for a takedown, it proves nothing. These guys need to shoot on him. If they don't shoot on him, it still proves nothing.
And if they get knocked down on the shoot?
Then that's legit. That would be fine. That's like Aljamain Sterling and O'Malley. Like he shot him for a takedown and he knocked him out while he was shooting. That's fine. But he hasn't done anything like that.
Alex Pereira was the GOAT. I feel like, well, it's actually funny. I was watching a short where DC was talking about how Alex he got like a brown belt after knocking somebody out.
Yeah. No, he got his black belt after knocking out Jamal Hill.
Crazy.
In a match that had no striking, he got his black belt. Or no grappling, and he got his black belt. All striking, gets his black belt by knocking a guy out. That's not how it works. Maybe he was already going to give him the black belt, no matter what, and he already earned it at an earlier point, and he wanted to wait until that moment to give it to him.
Yeah.
Even if that's true, it's not a good look.
He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
That doesn't mean you're good, though. That doesn't mean you're effective. You know who was a black belt in jiu-jitsu?
Who?
Anderson Silva. You know how he got dominated by Chael Sonnen for 4.5 rounds and then pulled off the submission at the very end? If Alex Pereira does some shit like that, I'm in. Like, I'll be in. I'll be all up for it. I'll be like, okay, Alex Pereira's legit. But he needs to go through a fight like that.
Anderson Silva's a striker.
Yeah, but he's got a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
It's different.
How's it different?
Because Chael Sonnen is also a striker.
What?
He's a good wrestler, but he's a better striker. The undefeated Chael Sonnen.
Okay, be serious for a second. You know that Chael Sonnen is a wrestler, right? Like we're on the same. We know this, right? He's a wrestler who took Anderson Silva down for 4.5 rounds, and then Silva submitted him. If Alex Pereira does that, I'm in. He hasn't done that. He hasn't proved that he can do that. He hasn't even fought someone possible to do that to him.
Name 3 strikers John Jones beat.
Lyoto Machida, Alexander Gustafsson, Dominic Reyes, Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos.
Anthony Smith?
I'm already at 5. He's a striker. He's not a grappler.
He's a balanced fighter.
Okay, fine. Then take him off. I still got 4. Thiago Santos, Alexander Gustafsson, Dominic Reyes, Lyoto Machida, Rampage Jackson.
Wrestler.
Who only strikes.
Balanced.
Okay, he doesn't offensively grapple. So he's a striker. If you don't offensively grapple, then you're a striker. That's how it works. If you don't shoot for takedowns and try to take people down and that's your strategy, if you don't pull a Merab or a Bilal, you're not a striker. You're not a wrestler. Ankalaev is balanced because he shoots takedowns and he gets them and he dominates, but he also knocks people out. That's what balance means.
So does Jan Blachowicz.
No, because he does that to guys that suck at wrestling. He can't do that to someone who is actually competent. He can only do that to people who are incompetent on the ground. Alex Pereira and Izzy. He can only do that to guys that don't know what they're doing on the ground. But see, Izzy has proved that he can go through fights with wrestlers and beat them. Just because he's gotten taken down by Jan and taken down by DDP and submitted by DDP and decisioned by Jan does not mean that he's not competent in that realm. Like, he's had competent moments, but overall, he's still not that good. But he's at least proved that he can do it. You know who hasn't proved that he could do it? Alex Pereira hasn't proved that he could do it. The only fight where he's been on the ground for long periods of time and taken advantage of on the ground and not able to get up was against Jan Blachowicz. And Jan Blachowicz should have won that fight. That was a split decision, and Jan Blachowicz won that fucking fight.
Yuri has a black belt.
That doesn't mean he's a wrestler, dude. If you don't...
You just gotta look at the baseline facts.
Like I said, if you don't go out there and shoot, you are not a wrestler. The black belt is to defend in case you get taken down. It's not to go out there and submit people. It's not to go out there, okay, I'm going to go take you down and go for a submission. No, it's to make sure that if you get taken down, you don't get submitted. It's not to offensively use it. It's all about defense when you get a black belt. A wrestler is the person who goes out there, takes you down, tries to ground and pound, get to your back, and submit you. That's not what a striker does. A striker gets a black belt to defend against that. That's what Alex Pereira is doing. That's what Jan Blachowicz did. Everyone that you're mentioning, Yuri Prohaska, they have their black belts because they want to stop people from taking them down. Not because they want to use it. They don't want to use their black belts. They want to just keep it in their pocket and just make sure that no one gets to them. They don't want to use it. They want to strike.
Do you think Ankalaev beats Alex Pereira?
If he's not totally stupid. He needs to be at least somewhat not dumb, and then he'll be able to do it. If he just takes him down, he'll be able to do it. If he doesn't, he's going to have a hard night. So just be halfway competent, and you'll win. Like, if you just take him down, you'll win. Just do it. And then I want to see Alex versus Tom, or Alex versus Jones after that, and watch everyone be like, oh, Alex Pereira is going to knock him out. And then rugby tackle, takedown, 1, 2, 3, taps him out.
I think they're going to strike with Alex Pereira. You have to understand, listen, Tom Aspinall and John Jones, they're going to strike with him.
Tom Aspinall already said he's going to run right through his chest and rugby tackle him in the first 10 seconds of the fight.
Tom Aspinall's going to strike with him.
No, he won't.
I'm telling you he is.
No, he won't. He's going to want to do exactly that. He's going to just want to take him down, submit him, and prove that this guy is nothing to him.
So what if...
that's the most effective way to do it.
So what if they strike?
I think Tom Aspinall can still win. We saw Khalil Roundtree versus Alex Pereira 2 weeks ago.
It was a tune-up fight.
That fight proved that Tom Aspinall could put Alex Pereira unconscious. Alex Pereira almost got put unconscious by Khalil Roundtree.
Khalil Roundtree's a dominant. He's a more well-rounded striker than Tom Aspinall.
But Tom Aspinall also has an average fight time of under 2 minutes because he knocks out everyone that's put in front of him.
Beginner's luck.
He's done it like 12 times now. That's still 12. You're at 12. That still is Habib beginner's luck because he only fought in the UFC like 13 times? Is that beginner's luck that he is still undefeated?
Habib fought trash cans till he got up to the top level.
And then he beat the 3 best guys in the division.
Yes.
Yeah. In the hardest division ever in the sport's history. In the hardest time period of the hardest division of the entire sport's history, Habib was champ and undefeated.
He could have kept defending the belt.
He could have, but he didn't. And
changed his record.
And you know what Alex Pereira could do? He could prove that he is a good MMA fighter, but he hasn't. Oh, well. That's all I have to say. Oh, well, he hasn't proved it. Let me know when he does, and I'd be happy to jump on board. Because honestly, I think what he's doing right now is greatness. I think it could be. This is potentials for greatest of all time if he could keep doing this to everyone. But he hasn't fought everyone. He's fought in a certain kind of person. Yeah. He's fought in one kind of person, a striker. That is all he's fought in. 10 times, 10 strikers, beat them all. Except Izzy. Got knocked out by Izzy. I don't know, man. He's got to fight a wrestler. We could go down the list, by the way, pound for pound. GSP, karate background, 80 takedowns in the UFC. Jose Aldo, one of the best strikers. He also never got taken down. Like, never. Ever. Like, you could shoot takedowns on him all day, and you're not taking him down.
He got knocked out by Conor McGregor.
Yeah, but that's not my point. I'm saying that the GOATs are so well-rounded. Like, they've proved that they can't get beat in a certain aspect. Like,
Do you think Conor
they are
McGregor's
well-rounded.
more well-rounded than Alex Pereira?
Yes, I do, because he's also beaten guys like Chad Mendes. He's beaten Eddie Alvarez. He's proved that he can defend takedowns and that he can get back up from takedowns. And he also beat Max Holloway by grappling him. So he's also proved that he can take someone down and hold them down. So he has shown that he is well-rounded, more well-rounded than Alex Pereira has shown.
He's defended takedowns against Khabib as well.
Exactly. He has proved that he is more well-rounded than Alex so far.
Okay.
Can you name another one?
Do you think...
We can go down the list. Demetrius Johnson, you already know. He's a good striker and a good wrestler.
Do you think that Conor, a little bit right before he fought Khabib, do you think he could beat Ilia Topuria right now?
Who? Conor?
Conor, right at that point.
At 145?
Yeah.
I don't think he would. I think Ilia Topuria...
155?
That's closer, but I still think Ilia Topuria could probably put Conor McGregor
170?
to bed. I don't think Ilia Topuria can make 170. Like, he's probably walks around at around, like, 180. Oh, yeah. So it would just not make sense for him to fight at 170. He'd be so undersized.
Nah, I think Conor knocks him out.
I don't know, man. You got to think about it. The sport evolves. Each generation is better than the last. That's how all sports are. There isn't a sport in the world where it degresses and gets worse. Each generation is better at the sport than the last. So I think that Ilia Topuria is better than any champ that came before him. Like, he'd beat any single 145 champ before him, including Max. I think he beats Max. But Max is still kind of in his prime, so he might be an outlier.
Kind of to piggyback what you're saying, when I see the new generation of fighters, when I see Ilia Topuria, him and Tom Aspinall, they're like about the same. They're both evenly balanced, good with the striking, phenomenal finish. Like, they're on the same pace right now, and I feel like they're changing the UFC for the better. As I watch them, I like them more. They're cool fighters. They have the tattoos, the cool look. Their styles are fun to watch, especially Ilia Topuria. I would love to see him knock out Max Holloway. That would be crazy.
Man, that's my favorite fighter, though. I don't want to see Max go unconscious.
But the way Ilia would do it with those punches.
Yeah, it would be crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not ready. I'm not prepared for that prediction yet. That'll be next week. Next week when we do this, I think that's going to be when we're predicting that card.
Man, I think he could beat Islam.
I don't know, man. But we'll do the predictions for that next week. But we do have some predictions to get out of the way today. So let me pull. All right, I accidentally stopped the recording real quick. We're back now. So now we've got Hernandez versus Pereira for next week. Michelle Pereira versus Anthony Hernandez. And Rob Font versus Kyle Phillips. Charles Johnson versus Sumadarchi. Jake Hadley's on this card. Darren Elkin's on this card. But I think should we just keep it to the first two? Yeah. I think we should just keep it to the first two. Rob Font versus Kyle Phillips. And Anthony Hernandez versus Michelle Pereira. You want to just 3-2-1 it and then call it out?
Yeah.
All right. Rob Font versus Kyle Phillips. 3, 2, 1.
Kyle
Rob
Phillips.
Font. Okay, I got Rob Font. You got Kyle Phillips. All right. Anthony Hernandez versus Michelle Pereira. 3, 2, 1.
Anthony
Michelle
Hernandez.
Pereira. You go. So we went. So we split. All right. I think that's good enough.
No, add another fight to it.
All right. You want to do Charles Johnson versus Sumadarchi?
Yeah.
They're both 16-6, by the way. So this is one of the closest fights I've ever seen. All right. 3, 2, 1. Sumadarchi. Okay. You meant Charles Johnson.
It's
hard to say it at the same time. It kind of gets you mixed up. Yeah, I got Sumadarchi. You got Charles Johnson. Yeah. I got Rob Font. You got Kyle Phillips. And then
let's just do another one.
I have Michelle Pereira. You have Anthony Hernandez. Why? You're just trying to get my belt back. All right. Fuck it. We'll do the whole card. All right. We'll do the whole main card. Brady Hirsad. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's 9-2 versus Jake Hadley, 11-3. 3, 2, 1. Jake
Brady
Hadley.
Hersig.
Okay. So you got Brady, I got Jake. We're still split straight down the middle. Okay, and then Darren Elkins versus Daniel Pineda. Pineda? I think it's Pineda. You want their records?
Yeah.
Okay, Elkins is 28-11, and Daniel is 28-16-0, and 3 no contests.
Okay.
All right.
What are the names?
Darren Elkins and Daniel Pineda.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Daniel Pineda.
Okay, so we're tied on one of them, and then the other ones were all split. I'm cool with that.
All right.
We good there?
Yeah.
All right. I think you probably have a review for a boxing match that might have happened last week.
Better Beeve and Bivol. This was a very high level boxing match. We got to see that these two light heavyweights were slugging it out. The fight was very close, and the judges just had the scorecard like 116 to 112 or like 113 to like 122. Like it was weird. Like it was weird how they had the cards, and some felt like Better Beeve won the fight. Some felt like Bivol had it. They say Bivol won like the first 7 rounds, but the last 3 rounds, Better Beeve put so many significant strikes and beat him up so much that it counted more than those 7 rounds.
So like 10-8s or?
Yeah, basically. Like he put so much output and damage in these 3 rounds than he did in them 7. Is basically what people are saying. This is what I'm seeing, and
that's not how fights work. I'm big on that's not how fights work. You count round by round, and whoever wins the most rounds is the winner. That's how a fight works.
And I feel like Bivol should have won that fight. I definitely think that they should redo that fight.
I heard one of their wives was talking mad shit on a live stream about it.
Yeah.
The one that lost, who lost? It was
Bivol.
Bivol. His ex-wife was talking a lot of shit on streaming. Like she live streamed the fight and she was like talking shit about him or something like that. I thought that was funny. But that's all I heard about the fight. I didn't even know who won.
Man.
But it was a good fight though, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
All right. What were you gonna say though?
Be prepared for Tank Davis's next fight over in December.
All right, we'll get to that when we get to it. That's still in December. I think I'm just gonna title this episode "Talking About Alex Pereira" or something like that, because honestly, that's all we did in this episode was talk about Alex Pereira.
I thought we were gonna get into Rachmanov.
Nah, we're already 45 minutes in. I think we're good for the day. We could save that for another time. Yeah, we're already 45 minutes in. I'm good right now. Maybe next week we'll get into it a little bit after we do our predictions for 308. So, but for now, thank you, Elijah, for coming on the Hardcore and the Casual podcast. You got anything left you want to say?
Comment something.
Yeah, we were having a lot of fun in the comments. We basically just redid the entire argument right here that I had in the comments. If you think that I should get a life because of how many times I reply in the comments, well, this is my life now. So I got a life. I have one. Yes. It's just this is my life now. So thank you guys for watching the Hardcore and the Casual podcast. Thank you, Elijah. I have been your host, Justin, and peace out.